The galaxy was quiet, too quiet. Human ships moved between stars like silver arrows, carrying messages, supplies, and hope across the dark void. But on this day, something broke the silence. A strange signal appeared from an empty part of the galaxy, a place where no living thing should exist. Commander Aaron Cole stood inside the control room of the exploration ship Horizon Dawn. He looked at the repeating signal on the holoscreen, his eyes sharp and focused. The signal was weak, broken, and sounded like a whisper from a dying world. No known species used this frequency. No colony was registered in that area, and worst of all, the star system sending the signal was supposed to be dead for thousands of years. The message repeated every 20 seconds. At first, it was only static and noise, but then the computer enhanced it, and a single sentence became clear. If humanity is alive, run. The crew froze. A warning from the past was now echoing across time. Aaron felt a cold shiver move through him. Who sent this message, and why did they warn only humanity? The ship jumped through hyperspace and entered the dead star system. At once, the crew felt something strange. The light of the red dwarf star was weak, like a candle almost burned out. It flickered unnaturally, as if something was eating its energy. Around the star floated the remains of battles long forgotten. Broken alien ships drifted like bones of ancient monsters. Some ships had holes melted through them, as if touched by fire hotter than suns. Others were sliced clean in half by weapons no one had ever seen before. Lieutenant Mara, the ship's science officer, whispered softly, "This battlefield is more than 10,000 years old." But Aaron only stared at the wreckage. He knew which species once ruled this star system. He had read about them in old human archives. They were called the a powerful species that once challenged humanity in the early age of space travel. They were feared, strong, and proud, but suddenly, they vanished from the galaxy without explanation, until today, because the signal came from one of their last ships, still drifting in this graveyard of steel and dust. The Horizon Dawn moved closer to a large, cracked vessel, its structure twisted by time and war. A faint blue light blinked from inside the wreck. Mara pointed toward it, her voice slightly shaking. "That is the source of the signal." Aaron nodded. "Prepare an away team," he said. "We need answers." The boarding group entered the dark, silent ship. Their flashlights cut through the thick dust and floating debris. Every step echoed like footsteps in a tomb. Old Verthak symbols glowed weakly on the walls. Strange lines and circles carved into metal, telling a story no human understood. Inside the control chamber, they found the message terminal, a cracked device, still blinking its warning like a dying heartbeat. Aaron studied it carefully. It was ancient, but someone had restarted it recently. Someone was alive here, or had been alive not long ago. Suddenly, Lena, the engineer, gasped and pointed toward the floor. A trail of dry, dark green blood led deeper into the ship. The crew followed the trail cautiously, weapons ready. The air was cold, too cold for comfort. Everything around them felt wrong, as if the shadows themselves were watching. The trail ended at a sealed door. Aaron placed his hand on the panel, and it slowly opened with a painful metallic groan. Inside the room was a strange pod, half broken, half working. It hummed softly, and a pale blue mist floated around it. Inside the cracked glass lay a creature with thin limbs, grey skin, and glowing eyes. A living Verthok, the last of its kind. The creature's eyes opened slowly. It looked at the humans not with anger, but with fear. Real, shaking fear. It tried to speak, but its voice was weak. Aaron lowered his weapon and stepped closer. "What happened here?" he asked softly. "What destroyed your people?" The Verthak struggled to breathe. Its voice was thin like wind passing through broken metal. "We were wrong. We thought humanity was our enemy." It paused, trembling with pain. But something else came. Something older. Something that eats stars. The crew exchanged horrified glances. Mara whispered, "Eats stars." The Verthak nodded slowly. "We tried to stop it. We failed. It is coming again." Its eyes dimmed, its body shaking violently. "Humanity must run." The creature gasped, "Run before the star dies." Before anyone could respond, the ship shook violently. Alarms blared on everyone's suits. Lena checked her scanner and froze. "The star," she whispered. "It is losing energy. Fast." Aaron felt his heart pound as the shadows shifted around them. Something had awakened, something hungry, something ancient, and they were standing in its feeding ground. The Horizon Dawn crew barely had time to catch their breath. The red dwarf star flickered weakly, its light dying like a candle in a storm. Eren knew that whatever had destroyed the Verthar could return at any moment. He ordered the team back to the ship, but curiosity and fear kept them lingering. Mara studied the Verthok pod carefully. Its glowing eyes had dimmed, but the memories inside it were still alive. Using the ship's neural scanner, she connected to the pod. Visions and images flooded her mind. She saw warships exploding in flashes of fire, planets turning to dust, and the faces of Verthok warriors, screaming in silent agony. This is their final battle, she whispered. Eren frowned. Against who? The answer came slowly, as if the Verthok itself was speaking through her mind. It was humanity they had once fought, but not as enemies. The Verthok had challenged early human colonies to test their strength. A forgotten war, hidden in time and archives, one humans had nearly erased from memory. The Verthok were strong, smarter than humans in many ways. They had weapons capable of tearing worlds apart, but they vanished suddenly, leaving no trace. The galaxy believed they were extinct, but now, the pod showed the truth. Something else had come, something more terrifying than war itself. The visions shifted, showing a massive shadow moving across stars, planets disappearing as its hunger grew. A creature that was neither machine nor normal life. The Verthok had tried to stop it. They had fought with all their power, but they failed, and their sacrifice had hidden the creature from human eyes for thousands of years. Eren felt the weight of history pressing down on him. The humans who thought they were masters of the stars were not alone, and the enemy they feared was not the Verth. It was something far older, something ancient. Mara gasped as she scanned the surrounding system. Eren, the star is dimming faster. It's like the system itself is dying. The crew realized then that the Verthak pod was not just a warning. It was a key to something bigger, a clue to the weapon or technology left behind to fight this cosmic threat. But the path to it was dangerous, and time was running out. Back on the horizon dawn, Eren studied old archives recovered from human colonies. There were references to the Verth, stories of their battles, their weapons, and their disappearance. Most humans had dismissed them as myths, legends, but now, the proof was before him, and it was terrifying. Sir Mara said, pointing at the display, these symbols on the Verthak ship, they aren't just decoration, they are coordinates. Eren leaned closer. They could lead us to their final base, or their last weapon. The crew understood the danger immediately. If the creature was still alive, they might be walking into its lair. Despite the fear, they decided to follow the coordinates. Their ship jumped through space, leaving the dying star system behind. Every member of the crew felt it, a sense that the universe was watching them, that the shadows between stars were not empty, that something ancient stirred. When they arrived at the new system, it was worse than the last. Planets were cracked, moons shattered, energy readings showed entire star cores missing. The Star Eater, as Mara finally named it after analyzing the visions, had moved closer, and it was consuming everything in its path. Eren realized the truth. The Verthak did not vanish because of humanity. They vanished because they failed to stop this cosmic predator. And now, humanity was in the same path. They were the next target, the last species that might challenge the Star Eater. The crew landed on a frozen, dead world. At its center was a massive structure, ancient and alien. It was too large for any human or Verthok ship to build. Its design was complex, filled with energy conduits, glowing crystals, and unknown mechanisms. Mara's scanners picked up something inside, something alive. Eren approached slowly. Whatever it is, he said, it might be our only hope. Suddenly, the ground shook. The planet trembled under invisible force. A shadow passed over the structure, blacker than the night sky. The Star Eater was here. Its presence was overwhelming, like gravity itself had become heavy and dark. The Verthak pod flickered in Eren's hand. Its last message repeated in his mind, run before the star dies. But running was not an option, not when the weapon, or the shield, or whatever the Verthak had left, was inside the structure. The fate of humanity rested on what they found next, and the shadow outside waited, patient and hungry. It had been awake for thousands of years, and now, it was coming for them. The Horizon Dawn crew stood before the ancient structure. Its alien design was impossible to understand. Energy pulses ran across its surface like veins of light. The air around it hummed with power. Eren could feel it in his bones. This was not a weapon meant to destroy. It was something far older, far smarter. Mara scanned the structure with every instrument she had. Her eyes widened in disbelief. This is a shield generator, she whispered. Something designed to stop. Something massive. Erin frowned. What could be so powerful that the Verthok needed this? Mara shook her head. The pod. It spoke of something that eats stars. The crew had pieced together the fragments of history. The Verthok did not vanish by accident. They had faced a predator so large, so ancient, it consumed entire suns to grow. A being that was neither alive nor dead, neither machine nor natural. It was older than most galaxies, and it had returned. Suddenly, alarms blared across the ship. Energy readings spiked violently. Lena checked the scanners with shaking hands. It's moving. It's in our system already. Erin ran to the main console. The Star Eater had arrived. Its shadow spread across the planets like a storm. Gravity waves bent the light from the nearby stars. Even the ship struggled to maintain orbit. The crew watched in horror as the nearest sun flickered and dimmed, its core being slowly absorbed by the invisible hunger. Entire worlds trembled. Mara whispered, "It's consuming everything, faster than we thought." Erin clenched his fists. Humanity had never faced anything like this. Not machines, not aliens, not even war. This was pure annihilation, a force that could erase the galaxy without care. But then Erin remembered the Verthok pod, the final message it carried. A warning, yes, but also a hint. Something hidden inside this system could stop the Star Eater, if they found it in time, if they survived long enough. The crew prepared to enter the structure. Every step inside was tense. The halls were alive with energy. Symbols glowed on walls. Pulsing in rhythm with the Star Eater's approach, Mara activated the neural link again. Images flooded her mind, showing the Verthak building the shield generator. They had worked with early humans to create a trap, a cage strong enough to hold the Star Eater, but at a terrible cost. Lena studied the device. "It needs a star to power it," she said quietly. Erin's eyes widened. A star. Sacrifice an entire sun. The crew went silent. The moral weight of the choice pressed down on them. Save themselves, save their colonies, or risk everything to trap the creature. Outside, the Star Eater moved closer. Its presence distorted space. Stars dimmed as it passed. Its massive shadow reflected across the planets like a tidal wave of darkness. It was intelligent, aware, and it sensed the humans moving through its feeding ground. Erin could feel its awareness pressing on his mind, a weight heavier than gravity, colder than death. The crew finally reached the heart of the structure. A massive chamber opened before them. Crystals floated in the air, channeling energy into a central core. Mara examined the controls. "It's ready, but it needs a star to activate." Erin looked at the approaching star. He knew time was running out. Suddenly, the ground shook violently. The chamber trembled as the Star Eater's shadow loomed over the planet. Energy readings spiked. Lena shouted, "It's here. It's trying to break through." Erin gritted his teeth. "This is it," he said. "We either stop it now, or humanity ends." They activated the generator. The crystals glowed brighter than suns. Energy began to pull toward the core. The Star Eater screamed in soundless fury. Waves of invisible force tore at the planet. The crew clung to the walls as gravity shifted violently. Erin watched as the shadow of the Star Eater twisted and writhed. It was alive with anger, frustration, and hunger. Mara whispered in awe. "It's fighting the trap. It knows." Erin nodded. "We have to keep it active." The room shook again. Lights flickered. The Star Eater's presence pressed closer, but the shield generator held, slowing the creature, containing its massive hunger. The Verthok pod's last message echoed in Erin's mind. "We failed. You must finish what we could not." The weight of responsibility settled on him. Humanity had the chance to be the last species to challenge this ancient predator, and perhaps, for the first time, survive. The Star Eater thrashed against the energy cage. Darkness and light clashed like storm and fire. The entire system shook as if the galaxy itself was struggling. Erin and his crew held their ground, for humanity, for survival, for the future. And somewhere in the distance, beyond the stars, the Verthok watched through memory, hoping their sacrifice had not been in vain. The horizon dawn trembled as the shield generator hummed with energy. Its crystals glowed brighter than any star in the system. The Star Eater thrashed outside, invisible waves of hunger pushing against the chamber walls. Erin felt the weight of responsibility pressing down harder than gravity. Humanity's survival rested on their choices. Mara scanned the generator. "It's complete. she said. The shield can contain the star, but only if we sacrifice the star. Erin stared at the nearest sun through the observation window. Its light flickered weakly. The thought of destroying an entire sun for survival made his chest tighten. This could save millions of colonies, he said, but it could also destroy everything nearby. Lena stepped forward. We don't have time to evacuate all the worlds. The Star Eater was closer now, its presence bending space, a massive shadow moving like a storm across the planets. Erin swallowed hard. The moral choice weighed heavily on him. Sacrifice the star, risk the innocent colonies, or let the Star Eater roam free, the crew argued. Some wanted to retreat and save humanity in a smaller area. Others believed they had to stop the creature no matter the cost. Erin knew the Verthok had chosen the same path thousands of years ago. They had failed, and the Star Eater had survived. Now, humanity faced the same test, and history demanded a different choice. Mara connected to the generator's control panel, her fingers moving quickly across the alien interface. Symbols and energy flows pulsed with each touch. This device isn't just a weapon, she said. It's a cage, designed to hold the Star Eater in place, but it needs a sun's energy to power the field fully. Erin nodded. We have to do it, he said. The Star Eater can't reach human space, outside. The Star Eater sensed the generator. Its massive shadow shifted faster. Gravity waves bent light from every nearby planet. The Star Eater's presence was overwhelming, and yet, humanity stood ready. They had no ancient power like the no superweapons, only courage, intelligence, and the will to survive. Erin made the call. We activate now, he said. Mara nodded. Energy surged through the generator. Crystals spun faster. The air hummed with power. The Star Eater screamed in soundless fury. Waves of darkness twisted around the chamber. But the shield began to form, invisible energy spreading outward. A cage of light strong enough to hold a creature that devoured stars. The nearest sun glowed brighter as energy was drawn toward the generator. Erin watched helplessly as the star's light became unstable. A supernova could happen at any moment. The sacrifice would be total, but it was the only way. The Star Eater thrashed violently, its shadow stretching across the system. It struggled against the invisible cage, the light of the generator pressing back, stronger than its hunger, inside the chamber. The crew held their positions. The walls shook. Crystals sparkled like frozen lightning. Lena yelled, energy levels critical. Erin gritted his teeth. Keep it steady. The moral cost weighed heavily on him. Thousands of lives would be affected by the dying star. But if they failed, billions more would die, and humanity might vanish entirely. The Star Eater roared in fury, its massive form twisting, energy bending in impossible ways. Mara focused on the generator. She whispered, "It's working. It's holding." Erin allowed himself a small nod. The Star Eater was trapped, but the battle was not over. The cage required constant energy, and the star at the center was collapsing. Time was running out. Then a message appeared on Mara's scanner. It was from the Verthok pod, a final instruction. "You are the last hope," it said. "Keep the light alive. Do not let the darkness break free." Erin felt a strange pride. The Verthok had left humanity a chance, not to fight with weapons, but with courage and cleverness. The HFY spirit of humanity, intelligent, brave, and undaunted, was now fully tested. The Star Eater thrashed harder. The energy cage sparkled and pulsed. The planet shook violently. Erin gripped the console. Mara focused. Lena stabilized the energy flow. Together, they held the generator steady. The Star Eater's fury reached a peak, and then, it began to weaken, the shadow shrinking, the energy cage holding stronger. The galaxy seemed to breathe again. Humanity had forced a predator of stars to pause. And yet, in the distance, beyond the light, something ancient watched, a presence older than any star, and the Verthok's last message echoed in Erin's mind. "You are not the last threat." The Star Eater was trapped, but the galaxy still held mysteries, dangers, and challenges, and humanity's story was only beginning.